Okay, so the final thing that we want to do is we want to save our recording, and we have our recording all set up um, so it does what we want it to do, and we basically want to save this whole thing. So we're going to show you how to do that here real quick. Just go back to 0. So the thing we're going to do is we're going to click record animation here, and most of this stuff you don't have to mess too much with. You have to set camera angles to change anything from your current view, but you can always change your view. Lighting style and background, these are things that make it look a little bit nicer, and you can play with them if you like to, but they're not really necessary to show you how the animation works. So I'm not going to mess with them here, but you can play with them a little bit and just see how it makes it look and see if it looks better. Illustration and shaded just looks a little bit more real, and it makes our parts look a little bit nicer, so I usually just use shaded. The output width and height, these are things that just make your screen a little bit bigger, your video a little bit bigger. So 640 by 480 is just fine for something that's going to probably end up in like a presentation or something. This will be just fine for something in like MAE3. We're also going to click this output tab. The things we want to look at here is right here I've set this time range from 0 to 16 seconds. Yours probably goes from 0 to 30. Set it for the time frame that you're looking at. I set it for 1 second beyond where I stop animating things, so I don't want it to be sitting there rendering things when nothing is changing on the screen, and from 15 seconds on nothing is changing. So I went ahead and just did it from 0 seconds to 16 seconds, which is 1 second beyond where my animation, like all the movement, ends. So also anti-aliasing, you can mess with this if you'd like. The highest anti-aliasing and even the high anti-aliasing, it makes it so that rendering is very CPU intensive, and it does take a bit longer. So you usually leave it on low. It doesn't change. What I'm looking for in MAE3 is to show people how my robot moves and how things are going to move in relationship to each other on my robot. So you know, making my animation super pristine is not paramount in this case. So I usually stick with low, and it does just fine. So also frame rate, you can play with these things, but I would leave it at 15 for right now. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this guy and save it at a particular video. Video.wmv is just fine, so I'm going to go ahead and save it there, and then I'll click this render button. So it's got all my custom profile, and this is just a double check to make sure that everything is just fine. You don't need to worry about like network bandwidth. That's if you're going to upload it and stuff, but this 640 by 480 is something that we selected earlier, so we'll go ahead and click OK. And you'll see that it starts rendering, and it's going to give you kind of a preview of what it's going to look like as it's rendering and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for that, and we'll show the video real quick at the end. So